Today, we dive into the fascinating world of urban exploration photography with our guests, Alison and Jennifer. Together, they have ventured into countless abandoned places, capturing the essence of lost and forgotten spaces. With a shared passion for their cameras and exploring, they bring to life the beauty and mystery of urbex. Join us as they showcase their unique hobby, sharing funny, scary, and captivating stories from their adventures in urban exploration. So I am joined with Jennifer and Alison. I'm really glad to have you guys on the podcast today.
Thank you for having us.
Awesome. So you guys are photographers, and you specialize in urbex photography, and is it urban exploration?
Yes.
So. Can you guys kind of explain that for somebody that's never heard of that before?
Yeah, so it's exploring abandoned and historic structures all over the world. Ones that are vacant and not in use anymore. People kind of just got up and left for whatever reason it may be, and leave so many things behind. And we like to go to these places and photograph them and show off what's still left inside, and hopefully one day the building will become something else.
So, was this the first form of photography that you guys kind of dove into, or do you guys have very much different kind of stories on how you got to that medium?
This is probably the first serious kind of hobby that I've had. I've always taken pictures with my phone and stuff like that, but this is the first time I've gotten a camera, different lenses and stuff like that. So I'm pretty into it now. But this is mostly, I do architecture and urbex. That's mostly what I photograph.
What about you?
So I started when I was a kid. My mom and dad got me this point and shoot, just basic camera. And we'd go to the Morton Arboretum down the street in Lisle, and the forest preserves, and old cemeteries when I was a kid. And then in high school I took photography class, developing my old pictures, Photoshop classes, and then still did landscape and nature, but got bored one day and looked up an abandoned cemetery. And the one that comes up around here is Bachelor's Grove Cemetery. So I went there and I was like, well, I wonder if there's other abandoned stuff, and Googled it, and there's so much. And now it's turned into this obsession.
So when you went to Bachelor's Grove, did you photograph any orbs or anything?
No, I didn't. I've only gone during the day. I've never gone at night. Yeah. I know you could probably still catch something during the day, but I've never seen anything there. Yeah. But we've experienced a couple things at some different places that we've been to. That's pretty...
of the paranormal kind.
Yeah.
So so you guys collaborate on and off pretty frequently, but you guys do your own art, and you guys have pretty good sized followings on your social medias. I know you were an author.
Yes.
You have the books. That is so neat. So do you guys have any paranormal experiences together when you guys were working on shoots? What comes to mind? Because I want to believe in all of that, but I haven't come across a ghost or anything yet. But then again, I'm not putting my neck out there going into abandoned places where there's probably ghosts.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people don't experience things at these places, or they're not open to it. Maybe maybe we're just open to it.
That might be it.
It's happened once or twice. Some pretty.
Does anything stand out?
The asylum.
Yeah.
Asylum. That's the place to be haunted, right?
Do you want to tell a story? Or?
Oh, you can, because it was mostly.
All right, so we were in this asylum. It's in Illinois. I'll say that because we don't want to give away too much about places. So it's in Illinois. It's a huge property. It's probably got 12 or 15 buildings in it. And we were there in the middle of the day, and we were in the chapel part. So Jen was more towards the altar, and I was towards the back. And behind me then was the hallway leading towards the rest of the building. And we're shooting, and all of a sudden I hear footsteps, and then running up towards us, and something jingling, and I'm like, oh my God, Jen, somebody's here. It's security, it's the cops. I'm sprinting towards her. We can't find a way out, and nobody ever came. Nobody was there. Her wife was outside kind of just scoping the area, just making sure she didn't see anybody around there. It's not a very busy town.
Oh my gosh.
there was nobody there, and it was like you heard it, and I heard it and felt it like somebody was there.
Her face was like, like she was running towards me. It was crazy.
So, like, in that instance, when you come across something that you think is paranormal, I mean, does that scare you out of the place? Because I think that would definitely get me leaving.
I think we were more scared that it was security or cops.
Okay.
Like, the ghost really, I mean, it didn't really scare me that much, but thinking it was security, I thought I was
it's just like the fear of the unknown, right?
Right.
How often is it that there is security at those places, and what could they be protecting?
There's a lot of hospitals, like places like that have them usually. The asylums usually do.
Yeah.
Asylums usually do. Things that have like medical records, stuff like that that are still in the building, they will try to protect that kind of stuff.
And when the place is abandoned, they leave all of those records still?
A lot of times.
Wow.
A lot of times they do.
Yeah, there's a lot of places.
No kidding.
Utensils or surgical tools
or
people's clothing from a nursing home that's closed and food and just...
What protection, like, okay, I'm thinking like, okay, rusty surgical supplies everywhere, and I don't know if there's like crackheads or something.
Sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah. Sometimes.
What do you wear to, like, I mean, boots, I would hope, maybe, or just like flip-flops?
There are people that wear flip-flops.
Yes.
There are. Not us.
That's crazy.
No. Yeah.
You haven't had anything like ripped through your shoe or...
Oh, yeah.
Nails.
Nails, lots of nails.
Yeah.
Like, without us even knowing, we just come out and there was like 5 nails in our shoe. We didn't even know.
Yeah.
What are like the top like pieces of equipment like that if somebody wants to do urbexing, which is probably oversaturated, I would imagine, right? Because I see so much vandalism and things, which we'll definitely talk about. Yeah. But what is stuff that like you need to protect yourself? Like, what do you have to bring? Boots, probably.
I mean, you should probably wear boots. A lot of these places, I mean, I don't wear them. I know sometimes you do. We usually wear, like, Vans.
Yeah.
But, you know, if we have to, say, just climb a fence, boots really aren't our best friend in that situation.
Yeah. Pants.
We always wear pants. Never shorts. Never shorts.
No, never shorts.
I mean, we've been in, like, over 100-degree weather, and we still have jeans on and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, or, I mean, a really gross building, we're wearing, like, a hazmat suit almost. I mean,
that makes sense. Just go to, like, a painting store or something, and the coveralls.
Yep, yeah. Sometimes you have to, because some of these buildings are disgusting.
Yeah.
What about, like, do you guys wear, like, N95? I mean, does that help mold spores? Like, what about the mold, black mold?
We probably should.
Yeah, absolutely. You should wear a mask in these places, especially the ones that have mold, asbestos.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't always, which isn't the greatest thing, but you definitely should wear a mask.
Yeah.
We always bring flashlights.
Okay, that's so huge, right?
Lights.
There's usually not power in these places, but sometimes there is.
No kidding. And why would it be that they leave power on at the places?
We have no idea.
That's a place crazy. Went bankrupt, or like
just like sitting in limbo before maybe the power company shuts it off or something.
Yeah.
Holy cow. So those are like equipment to protect you from certain hidden dangers, like. Is there, like, codes, like... So I watch all the people on YouTube that do the urban exploration, and those are always super cool. But, like, I notice, like, if he has, like, a flashlight, he's very, like, cognizant, or, like, he's very aware of, like, okay, I can't have my flashlight, like, crossing windows or anything like that. I mean, do you have to think about all that, or...
Absolutely.
In Wisconsin, we had to walk, I mean, a couple miles... or maybe it was 2 miles through the like a forest wooded area without any light, because we didn't want to have the light flashing.
Wow.
And like it was so dark, so we could hear like coyotes on the side of us like howling and stuff. It was pretty creepy.
Yeah, but you have to be conscious of that. If we're going into a place at nighttime, which happens sometimes, we'll try to stick to like the theater or something that we know is totally boarded up, that we can use our flashlights so no one will see us. Because theaters or like bowling alleys usually don't have a lot of windows.
What is like the intel like on a place? Like, is there like a secret? Because I know a lot of people don't like to give the addresses away, and because there is a lot of vandalism, and once word gets out, like the places get trashed, which is very unfortunate. like, what is the intel that you do, like, finding a location? Is there, like, an inner trusted network of urban explorers that kind of trade? Or is it like, okay, I'm driving down the road and I see something, maybe I'm going to pin it? Or, like, how all... I mean, do you scope out a place before you go? Like, what just goes into that?
A lot of that. I have, like, maybe, like, Alison and maybe 2 other people that I'll trade spots with every once in a while.
Okay.
These are people that I've explored with and stuff like that I've known a little bit longer, so I know that they're a little bit more trusting with spots.
Yeah.
I know that they want to see these places too, and they're not going to ruin them. So I'm like more willing to do stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes we'll drive around and see spots, but same thing, like word of mouth through close friends that we trust. We keep our close friend or circle really close. Don't talk to a lot of people. If you do post something. I try to be conscious of like posting the window and then somebody like researching the outside of the window, like a building, so then they find that place. Yeah. Like I found places where people have posted, it was a poster on the wall, and I've Googled like that service that they were doing, found that page, and then on their website, you can type in like you're in Illinois, so all these places that do that service, and I narrowed it down to which place this was just by.
So it's a lot of like thinking outside the box.
Yeah,
a lot.
So in like a photographer's like perspective, one, they don't want to necessarily overshare the locations because they don't want too many people going to the spot and ruining it. But is it like, oh, this is my spot, like I gotta photo this and I'm gonna be the first one to go through this place after it's been untouched for so long? And like, is there kind of like, I don't know, like do photographers just try to hide stuff from other photographers?
Kind of.
Yeah.
There's no like beef or anything like that.
Oh, there's always. Yeah, there's always
drama. Always,
yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
By the end of the day, there's a new drama.
Yeah, people locking up their spots and
people will
lock it up.
Yeah,
they'll take a chain and a new lock and lock it up so nobody else could get in.
No kidding.
Yeah, just people being petty.
So have you guys ever had an experience like I watched this guy on YouTube? They'll like pay homeless people to like show them the best like entry point on something.
Yeah.
Have you ever had to pay like a homeless person to like show you the hidden entryway or?
I haven't.
No,
not
either.
No. We've run into homeless people.
Yeah, we've run into homeless people.
And how are those experiences?
It can go one or two ways. Bad or really good, where they're nice or they're kind of on drugs and crazy.
Like how good could the experience be if you come across them?
They usually leave. They're usually more worried about us.
They don't give you like a quest item or something.
No.
Or they don't give you like more information. Like go just get like it's a quest or something.
No, I'm sure other people have encountered it though, but we haven't yet with our exploring.
Wow. Yeah, see, I think I'd be the most scared about like mold, which we like covered, right? Homeless people, but then again, like you just don't know the intentions of people, right? Like they could just be wanting to be left alone, which is probably how it is for the most part, right? And especially if somebody finds a place with power on, like to get away from the elements, but I'm sure the places with power have to have security, right?
Not all of them.
Yeah,
so how big of a threat is security?
Depends on how good of a security guard I guess they are.
So is it literally like just maybe one like a security person on post, or are they using like tripwire like alarms or something? I'm thinking of like glass breaks or like how sophisticated are they?
You want to tell the story of the
They're
hospital?
not like mall cops or anything.
Yeah, we can.
Okay. Yeah. We went to this hospital. It's in the Midwest. I'll just say that much. We had already went one time to it, so we
didn't have any problems.
No problems, no issues. We had drove around, and we knew no one that had went to it, so we were like the first people that we knew that went. Didn't know anything about it. We drove around, looked for security. We didn't see anything. We didn't see any trucks, nothing like that. We explored probably 2 hours, maybe.
Oh, easily, yeah.
And we were fine, but there were cameras everywhere. They were all on. And then I had also noticed the intercoms were on in every room. Every room we went to, all the phones were on. So we came back at night because we didn't find the morgue. We were trying to find the morgue in the hospital. Okay. We didn't find it the first night. The second time we came back, I don't know how long we explored this time, but we finally got to another floor where the cameras looked a lot different. they just seemed, I don't know what.
This one had a blue light on.
Yeah.
They were like dummy cameras.
And as soon as I like looked around and I was like, Alison, those cameras look a little different. On the intercom, somebody's like, what the hell are you guys doing in here?
Oh, like they're talking to you?
Yeah. So we just took off running, and by the time we got outside, there was a security guard out there. Well, maybe a month or two later, someone had called her, my wife, and it was the police from that town. And they were like, we wanted to talk to you about the hospital incident. And she didn't answer. It was on the voicemail, but they never called back again after that, which was good. But that was pretty sketchy.
So there was a security guy outside, and you dodged him, or?
He was inside watching us from somewhere, and he ran out after he saw us running.
Does that make you just like shit yourself when like just out of like silence you just hear like an intercom crack open? Or?
We did. We were on the top floor, the opposite side of this place.
Did you guys say anything to each other, or did you just run?
We ran.
Yeah,
we were running.
We needed to get out of there as quickly as possible.
Oh my gosh! I mean, holy cow! So like hospitals, right? I mean, that's a very popular abandoned place that people photograph, and I mean, I like totally like slipped my mind that hospitals have morgues in them, and I mean there's so much square footage in a hospital. Like, have you ever gotten like lost like so deep into a place like? You're not like leaving like breadcrumb trails or anything or rope lengths of rope. I mean, like, have you gotten lost? And
yeah, there was this. Well, we can say it because it's demolished. The Waukegan Hospital. It was the St. Therese Hospital. It's demolished now. But we went to that place at least 3 or 4 times for like hours because the place was so big. Yeah. And each time we went, we could not find the morgue. Could not find it. So then we finally found it, one time. And one of the, I don't know which time it was that we went, but we were like packing up for the day. Yeah. And we were in the main hallway, and this hospital was weird. It was like some floors had power or dead power kind of, but not all of them did. So we were on the main floor packing up, getting ready to go, and all of a sudden down the hallway we see like this like red flashing light, and we're like, oh my God, again, the police or security or somebody's here. We got to find a staircase to get out of here. We got to get out of the building and off the property. And the staircases in this hospital were so weird too. Some of them went up and down. Some of them went up. Well, the one we chose, of course, went down. So now we were going into the basement.
Oh my goodness.
The basement was pitch black.
And flooded.
Oh, and flooded. Wow. With the most disgusting water.
Oh my gosh.
Like sewage water. Almost up to our ankles. So we went down there and we're like kind of waiting it out to see who they are. We don't hear anything. We don't hear like police chatter, or saying like, come out, we know you're in here, security, whatever. So we're just standing in the pitch black basement. I mean, you can't even see your hand in front of your face. And all of a sudden we start seeing flashlights. And it was a hospital, so like in the corners of the hallways they had these mirrors. Probably to see, see if you don't run into like another gurney.
Blind spot kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
So we're seeing these flashlights like reflect off these mirrors, and we're still not hearing anybody talk. And
no, but we heard the dogs.
Yeah, all of a sudden we hear like dogs barking, and we were like, "Oh my God, we need to get out of here!" And we would have just ran, but the slightest movement in the water,
you do not want to fall in that.
Oh yeah, it was slippery and it was echoing, and we didn't know who it was. And now they have dogs. We hear them like start tapping like on different metals or something. So we're like, oh my God, they must be like scrappers. And like we're like, if they have a dog, like what are they gonna do? Is the dog like there to protect them? So we just like hunkered down and turned on a light and sprinted. Yeah, there's water splashing up and everything, and we got out of there, and
there was a truck parked right by the door, so it was scrappers.
Yeah.
They were
So that was a pretty scary experience.
Yeah. Holy cow! Yeah, that would definitely do it for me. Have you ever has there ever been a human interaction where like you guys been injured or anything like that?
Nothing serious.
Yeah, bruises, tripping and falling.
Okay, just from exploring, not from like finding some dude deep in whatever you guys are exploring or something.
No.
So it's not like there's like dudes just like lying in wait to attack people.
I mean, like I know it seems so dangerous, but I mean, knock on wood. But for me, I've never had a bad experience like that ever. And I mean, we go in like Chicago in the worst neighborhoods and stuff like that. We've never had really anything.
St. Louis, rough.
Have you guys just ever been like just caught in like 4K, just like you thought maybe you were like evading, like you just got like, I don't know, they like just kicked you out, like.
Oh yeah, that church in Chicago.
Oh yeah, the big one.
Yeah. It's one that a lot of people come here to photograph because it's like always open. I can't remember the name of it, but we were in there, and I think a neighbor called on us because they saw us going through the door. Cops came in and just said, get the hell out of here, and that was it.
So you got off with just a warning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I've heard this mentioned by some of the urban explorers that I watch online that they have their kit necessities. Kind of talked, like, they make sure they have boots and flashlights, things like that, masks. Now they make sure that they have like defensive kind of weapons, but not necessarily like offensive weapons. Like they would never have a gun,
right,
or like a baseball bat or a knife. Mm-hmm. They would have like pepper spray, and they say they do that purposefully. I don't know. Is that like something that ever crosses your mind, or? I mean, do you guys bring anything like a taser or something?
I have pepper spray too, but honestly, it sits in my backpack. I don't even have it out on hand.
Yeah. I mean, probably when we were running into those scrappers, I think I had my knife in my hand. It's just a little pocket knife. It's probably not going to do anything, but at that time it made me feel better.
Right.
I'm sure, right? And that's probably all you need sometimes.
You're right.
We usually just find something, whatever's laying on the floor, like some metal piece or something, and walk around with that.
Mm-hmm.
Any so you say you guys go to like Chicago, like pretty rough neighborhoods. Any stories of like gangbangers or anything?
There is, yes. St. Mary's, the Blue Church.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
How could you forget? No.
We just talked about this. Yeah, there was. Go ahead and tell that story. That was bad.
So it's another church in the city that people come here. We all go to different cities and explore. So everyone from out of state usually comes to this church. It's always open. Another one. There's always a door open somewhere, and it's a church, like with a school and then like a gym kind of connected. And, I mean, we were there, like, literally a week or two before this situation happened. No problem. Other people have always gone there and posted it. And we went there, and it was kind of weird, because the door that we went through the last time was, like, locked with a chain. So we're like, that's where this place is never, like, locked. So then we were going around, like, towards kind of the side, but towards the front where the main street was. And the door was opened, and there's like a guy there, and he's like, get the hell out of here. And we just all ran. We're trying to find the hole in the fence to get through so we can get to the car and get out of here. He's yelling at another guy who's now on the opposite side of the fence, like towards the front door. Get him, they're over there, they're over there.
What?
This guy's like, if you come back, I'll shoot you. And
he was chasing us. He had a gun.
He was waving his gun and everything. And we like posted like about it on our social medias, like, don't go to this place because it's like taken over kind of thing. There's been other churches. There's been other churches in the city that people like these gangs, I guess, or whoever groups they're kind of
setting up in there.
Yeah, it's like whatever they're doing that they shouldn't be. They kind of just take it over.
So there could be some sort of like criminal like underbelly that takes refuge in a lot of those big abandoned places. I mean, that like your common citizen like has no idea about.
Yeah, no, there was another church in the city that kind of was overtaken by some group
that I don't know if that was a religious group or I
don't know, but
something.
they were doing
abandoned place
shady.
taken over by a religious group.
Yeah,
it was something
shady.
Yeah, it was something shady. Yeah, it was very shady.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember walking in there. I don't know if I was with you or.
Yeah, I wasn't there that time.
Yeah, I went in there and there was just tables like set up with like electronics and like a bunch of these like dudes in there.
In there?
What?
Like people in there?
Oh yeah, people in there. A bunch of guys in there set up with like electronics, iPhones, iPads, anything you could think of. And so I just turned around and left. They didn't say anything to me, so that was something to see. Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, it is.
I was like, what are they doing?
I don't know.
Nobody wants to stay to find out.
No.
It's solely.
I think the idea is we got to go in like 10 deep and be like, okay, what are you guys?
Yeah.
What are you guys doing?
Yeah. Some people do go in groups. I mean, I don't like doing it.
Yeah, it's.
What are the cons? Because to me, I'm like, okay, no brainer. Feel safe, but maybe there's a lot of you guys like make a lot of noise.
A lot of attention.
Right, yeah, it brings a lot of attention. Our neighbors could see a group of people going in there with backpacks. You know, have hoodies on and we're all dressed in black clothing. You know, sometimes it looks suspicious to people. Or I've heard stories of people's tripods getting mistaken as like guns.
Oh yeah.
And neighbors or somebody will call. Yeah, so there's pros and cons with going with a lot of people, but usually negative. Nothing good usually happens out of it.
Wow.
There's always somebody acting crazy.
Yeah.
Acting up.
Yeah. Too many people, they get in your shots then too. You know, you got to coordinate. You know, everyone stay on this side of the church and don't go on that side until we're all done shooting, you know.
And they like set up the same shot that you're trying to take.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So you mentioned that like I didn't even think about that, where like tripods could be mistaken as guns, but I mean I could totally see that. Now with the photography equipment that you guys use in your travels is like, I mean, I'm sure it has to be tailored for efficiency, right? Everything that you guys could carry in your hands. And I mean, when you go up to a place, are you setting up a shot for like an hour before you take, the picture? Or is everything kind of quick? Does everything fit like in a bag? Like what?
Yeah, I carry a backpack. Everything fits in my backpack. I mean, I've slowly taken things out of the bag, and pretty much now that's just my camera and my tripod and my lights. That's about it, because it's just so heavy.
Sure.
But yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, everything just fits in a backpack. If we get permission to shoot an abandoned place or a vacant place, we don't have that worry of hurrying up and taking your shots and messing up. We can take our time, and we could take hours in there. A lot of these places, you got to be quick to set up your shots and to make sure they're right and the windows aren't blown out and you get good framing and everything.
What, you guys travel with lights too, I guess, right? Because the pictures look so evenly, lit and stuff. Like, those are lights that are, like, collapsible, or how do they even get power?
They're like battery power.
Oh, that is super cool.
Yeah, battery power. I think we both got ours on Amazon. And they just, like, hook on the top of your camera. There's, like,
they screw in.
Yeah, they screw in, like, a mount on top of our cameras.
What are some of... So, okay... Who photographed this? There's like a strip club that was photographed. That looks crazy. Is there one that's like a casino too? Maybe I'm thinking wrong. Maybe it was just the strip club. It's like the same color.
It's the strip club.
Yeah, it's a strip
club. Some of like the places you guys photograph are so bright and crazy. Like, did you find like a bunch of chips in there? Well, no, it's a strip club. They wouldn't really have chips like a casino. But I'm like, what a crazy landscape to photograph. Yeah. Right.
Well, there was that casino.
The riverboat. There was a riverboat casino that I went to, but it didn't have any chips or anything like that left. But there were like tables, little things, little signs and stuff like that. It was still cool. Very cool.
Has there been like a place where you guys have gone that was like so like untouched? It looked like odd. Like people just like up and went and just gone.
Oh yeah, a lot of times.
Especially like houses.
Oh, yeah.
Houses.
Oh, so you guys even houses? I never even thought of that.
Yeah, houses. We get kind of nervous doing houses. I think a lot of people do, because sometimes they'll have garbage piled up outside and weeds and even a broken window, and there'll be somebody living
sitting
in there.
Oh, no kidding, because I mean, how would you know?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's somebody...
What are they doing in there?
Right, I don't know if it's somebody that has, like, depression, or they're older, or, like, what the story is. But, yeah, sometimes these places look like they're abandoned, and they're really not. So you got to be careful with houses, because there's been some stories in the community where people have gotten hurt by, like, a homeowner.
I bet.
Especially like in the South. I mean, they don't mess around down there.
Carrying.
Yeah, really.
Damn. What has been like your guys' favorite? I mean, well, first off, how many years have you guys maybe just independently been doing photography? Specializing in kind of urban exploration.
I think I started like 2016, so about 8 years.
Yeah,
about 8 years.
2016, about
Yeah.
like hard into
Like
you were almost a decade, and then I mean both of you guys almost 10 years of, and has there been one place that's like really stuck out to you guys?
Every day I have a favorite place.
I know.
I change every time I go somewhere. I'm like, oh, this might be my favorite place now, but so it changes. I mean, like Six Flags in New Orleans, that was like probably one of the cooler places I've been. Lots of hospitals and asylums, stuff like that. I like stuff like that.
Yeah.
How about you?
I like asylums, hospitals, and I know we both love funeral homes. Those always have, usually funeral homes close because of like deplorable conditions, or the funeral directors are doing something they shouldn't be doing, and then they get shut down.
Controversy like that.
Yeah, so a lot of those funeral homes, they, sometimes the funeral directors will be in jail, or they just up and leave everything. We find sometimes cremated remains left into funeral homes. Yeah, it's crazy that all these places, it looks like people just got up and left one day, and just left so many things behind, and like memorable things to them, you would think too.
It's crazy with like funeral homes. I think there's like a big thing going on where there's a lot of unclaimed ashes too. So what is it like going into a funeral home and it's like abandoned? That must be crazy. Like what are the cool what are the cool spots to photograph in a funeral home? They'll have like maybe like a crematory,
embalming rooms, the tables and stuff like that. Okay. Usually the viewing rooms, those are always nice. The offices are actually kind of cool too. They always have cool stuff in their offices, always.
Yeah, their certificates hanging up, or just looking through the old paperworks that they leave behind. But I think the main shot in funeral homes are like the embalming room. Yeah. The white tables or the slabs. Yeah. And
that'll all still be there when you guys go?
Most of the time, yeah, it is. A lot of them are. Some of them are cleaned out. Sometimes we'll even find like caskets left behind. There was a funeral home in Illinois that we went to where there were caskets, and then inside were all those like sheets that were kind of like bloodied. And remember that? The one in Streeter. It's
Streeter,
cleaned out. Yeah, it was a funeral home in Streeter, Illinois. And these caskets were like in the attic, and they had like dirty like sheets in them. Yeah, it was so gross, so gross.
Why is that?
I don't know.
That funeral director went to jail for shady business, so who knows what that was up there for.
Yeah, he could have used the caskets like for like a wake, like the family could have like rented the casket.
That's what I thought, maybe like rented ones. And
he just never cleaned it out, which you should. Like I work at a cemetery, so I kind of know like you have to be like clean. Jeez. And there's like laws to do with that stuff. And
that embalming room was a mess.
Oh yeah,
it was a horrible mess.
It was so gross. That whole place was gross. Like on his desk there were a pile of his fingernail clippings. God. Remember that?
Yes,
it was so
I forgot about
gross.
that.
Yeah, this guy was just
so
nasty.
Gross.
But yeah, he was doing some shady stuff and got shut down.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe you can like correlate. Maybe he was like really stressed when all that was going down.
I think he probably was. He had like a desk full of alcohol and liquor too, so he probably was.
Yeah.
What a party that must be.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my God. That is unreal. Wow.
Yeah.
Have you heard? There's a lot of crazy controversial stuff that goes on with funeral homes.
Oh yeah.
They dip they'll sell like cigarettes that they dip in embalming fluid.
Oh God. So gross. So gross. And then how about the funeral homes in Detroit where like the
bodies were found?
Yeah,
I heard about that.
Yeah,
There's this person I watch called Ask a Mortician on YouTube, and she makes like documentaries like based on like funeral kind of things. So, man, funeral homes, and I wouldn't even think that there's actually a funeral. It's not abandoned. It's in Palatine. It's called Algrim Funeral Home. They have an arcade and mini golf course in the basement of the funeral home. Wow. Yeah, and like the owner was like building it in the 60s, and they just slowly added to it, and now it's like a place for like I think like Boy Scout troops.
Yeah.
We'll do like meetings in the basement
of
the funeral home, and so, and that's funny you mentioned like the bit nails. you guys must have very like kind of eye for photography, right? To notice the little nuanced kind of little details, you know, and I think those little details as a whole, you know, really makes for the whole scenery of a place, right?
Absolutely.
And makes everything stand out as unique.
The architecture in some of these churches, and you know, the history of these hospitals that we've been to, and you know, it's just crazy that we're walking around these places that one normally would not walk around in. Prisons,
prisons,
you know, it's just remarkable the things that you see in these places.
What is like going to a prison like?
We've been to a handful of them. Yeah. You know, one normally wouldn't see that, obviously, unless you worked there or you were in prison. Yeah, and I think just that feeling of, you know, being somberness, I don't know if that's the right word, or, you know, just that feeling, uneasy feeling. We've been to some prisons where there's still the inmates, like, writings on the walls that they've carved in their cells.
That was cool, yeah.
What do they write?
Like Bible verses and sometimes like obscenities and, you know.
Their gang stuff.
Yeah, drawings and like counting day by day, you know, counting like checklists and, you know, finding their orange jumpsuits that are left behind, and it's just crazy seeing the difference between like maximum security and just like a normal, you know, jail cell, general
population. Oh my goodness. That is crazy. That, like, I mean, it's just weird to think like the scopes of such giant buildings could become abandoned. Like, how does a hospital, you know, become totally abandoned? And when these are like mega complexes,
it's mostly money situations.
Or like a lot of the churches, they've they've closed, you know, in Chicago or wherever, but the parishes like merge. So they'll merge and then they'll close two, you know, of the churches or whatnot, or sometimes they'll close them for, you know, Sunday service but still use them for like funeral or wakes or, you know, a wedding or something. But yeah, so many churches and everything closed, but it's usually due to money or somebody getting in trouble from their place of business and then it closing.
So have you guys ever been to a place that wasn't quite abandoned and like you thought it would? Like nobody's watching like Sunday cartoons or anything.
Let's see.
That funeral home.
Yeah, so there was this funeral home and it did close.
Yeah, it was closed.
Yes, it was closed. But the funeral homes, how do you say it? Like they get bought quickly.
It was bought, yeah.
Yeah, they turn around really quickly.
Yeah, fast turnaround.
And somebody had bought it, but like there was no sign, the phone number didn't work or anything, and like, I think you guys went in it like one day or something, and then
after.
Yeah, and then we came back to like photograph it because we missed some stuff.
Okay.
And there was Jennifer, her wife was outside watching again because she didn't want to go inside. She didn't have a good feeling, and this like truck pulls up, right? And some guys were there, and Jennifer like pulls up and, you know, trying to call us saying, get out, get out, get out, somebody's here. And she's trying to stall them and say, hey, you know, I was just wondering if, you know, you'd let us go inside and take pictures. And we're trying to like run out the front door because they're in the back. So we walk around, and I don't know if they had any idea that we were even in there.
No, I'm sure they did.
But yeah, it got bought quickly, but it just wasn't in use yet. They were like
they were
fixing
like
it
back
up,
to business or anything.
Yeah, but we asked them if we were like, can we go inside? We were just, you know, out front seeing if you were inside, and they were like, no, we're doing construction, and they definitely weren't doing construction in there, so they they just didn't want us inside, I think, but. Yeah, that was really, I think, the only spot.
So when you guys are planning to do these, like, photography sessions, is it, like, do you guys go to, like, 3 places in a day? I mean, is it like, oh, you know, maybe, like, tomorrow afternoon we could swing by this place, or?
It depends on how far apart they are. Is traveling distance, it takes a lot of time.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But usually we'll, like, pick out an area that we're going to like go to, say we're going to go to Indiana or something, and we'll try to find whatever, we'll put our like heads together and find what spots we have there so we can make more of a day for going there, you know, like not wasting a lot of time. Usually we do like 3 or 4.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
In Chicago it gets hard because you could have a spot on the north end, you know, and then there's another one on the south side, and it takes you like an hour and a half to get there.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, so we try to group stuff in the same area to try and get as many places done as we can.
Where do you try to park, or do you just, you know, have a third person kind of driving around? Like,
yeah, my wife, she waits in the car. She drops us off and will pick us up. She used to explore with us, but now she just doesn't want to explore anymore. So she'll usually wait in the car and like be a lookout for us, basically. So if anything happens outside, we'll know.
And that's honestly probably like crucial to have, I would imagine.
It is. It's still park away from the buildings.
So it doesn't
Do
look
not
so
park
obvious.
Near them,
Just be like continuously looping around checking the whole perimeter.
Yeah, sometimes you have to, and she's been a great help in some instances where, like, you know, she's been calling us, get out of the building, because someone's pulling up or something. So it's worked out.
And is that just to be safe, or like does it look like they're like on some sketchy level of stuff?
I mean,
it's better to be safe than sorry, or...
Yeah, well, I mean, I think all of our instances were not like sketchy people, really.
It was like people that own the building, or like realtors or whatever.
Yeah, real estate agent. Like we were in another hospital, and we were, again, it's always when we're on the top floor, and Jennifer's calling us saying, get out, there's a group of people, and they look like all like realtors, like they were showing the building to these people. So we got out of there unseen, but she came in handy that day.
So you mentioned you did Six Flags, not in Illinois. You said where was it?
New Orleans.
And so most of your photography is Illinois and the Midwest, but what was that like? I mean, the scope of a whole amusement park.
That was crazy. That was really crazy. I was lucky enough to go with somebody that had already went before. So she kind of knew like where to park and stuff like that. Yeah. And they have security that sits in the front. But at that time they were driving around inside the park. Okay. So we really, I mean, she really did. It had been like maybe 2 years since she had been there. So she really didn't know anything about the security. But we had to get up at like, I think 3 a.m. and like, so it was still dark. So they wouldn't see us coming in. But the area that we had to walk was right near all this swamp. And that's all we heard about was the alligator or the crocodiles or alligators or whatever. So I was like freaking out the whole way. And I have a video of me walking, and the whole time I'm like, I don't think this is a good idea. And she's just like, come on, let's go. But you finally get in there. But it's just, I mean, it was like Walking Dead in there when you like walk in there and like everything. And it was so foggy that day, and the light was just coming up. So like the atmosphere was just like crazy and ridiculous. Just seeing all those rides and all the overgrowth over it, it was just crazy.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, it was really pretty. It really was.
So you guys mostly do Illinois, right? Or very commonly do you guys
Midwest.
Travel out? So just the Midwest as a whole.
Because
I know your handle, you have Chicago in the handle. Well, you guys are like really from Illinois. So.
But yeah, Wisconsin, Indiana, Missouri. But yeah, mainly around here. We've gone to Pennsylvania before. You've gone to the South before, and
yeah, I've went down south, Alabama, Georgia. I just went like last month or the month before to New York and Baltimore. That was fun. I've been to New York a few times. Okay, it's nice. Upstate and not New York City, just upstate.
I gotcha.
Yeah,
there's a lot of abandoned stuff like upstate New York.
Oh yeah, a lot, a lot.
So, what is really cool about this podcast is I get to interview so many people with interesting hobbies. I've loved urban exploration for, so long. So many YouTubers I would watch. Dan Bell, The Proper People come to mind. Ton of YouTubers that do that kind of thing. So it allows me to ask people all these crazy questions that I've always been thinking. Has there ever been like any like weird objects you found in places that like probably shouldn't be there? Like any like mannequins you've bumped into that like psych you out or something?
Let's see. Well, there was this prison. I don't think you were with me. This is like when I first started. It's the only thing that can come to mind. That was like like a piece of glass like that broke from a mirror that somebody had wrapped like tape around the bottom so it looked like a shank, and it was just like hanging out like on this like cabinet.
Oh my gosh.
Like that was kind of weird to see.
It was at that house that we went to that one time. I'm sure it was something completely normal, but there was like someone had a braid, like a hair braid, like they had just cut it or something, and they put it on the wall.
God.
It was, and I just thought that was so weird to me. I don't know. It probably was something completely normal. Maybe their kids' hair or something.
That would scare me though.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, any like animals or anything, like chained up dogs.
Yeah.
Oh,
in Detroit, a lot of dogs. There's a lot of dogs.
Yeah.
But you know, we hear them and we just leave. I mean, as soon as I hear them, I leave. I don't want to mess with the dogs.
No.
I don't want to mess with dogs
idea what
at all.
they could have, or their temperament and all that kind of stuff that goes with it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what is the man standing by the church?
Okay, so there's this church in the city. I don't even know if it's abandoned anymore or not or whatnot, but
I think it is.
Is it?
I think it's for sale, yeah.
So there was this guy, and we think he, like, lived in there because he never left.
Okay.
I swear to God, all during the day.
Like a caretaker.
Yeah, like a caretaker. He'd sit on the corner, because this church was on a corner, in a folding chair and sit there all damn day. Even when you looked up the address on Google Maps, he is sitting in his chair on the corner. So, like, somebody that we were exploring with that day found out the, like, lock code or key fob thing, and, like, when you opened it, there's a key to that door, like a realtor box or something. Found out the code. So he was like, all right, go inside. We figured out what kind of car this guy drives. So when he got in his car and, like, finally left, because he had to leave at some point, you know?
Yes.
He finally left, like... They followed him in his car while we went in and, like, photographed the church and, like, got up before he came back and put the key back and closed the door like nothing was ever there.
Yep.
Did he have, like, house furnishings there?
We didn't go on that side. We just stayed in the chapel area because there was, like, a whole apartment side that we didn't.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm sure he was staying there.
Yeah, I'm sure he was.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
There used to be somebody like that at Bachelor's Grove that was like the caretaker that would always stay there.
Really?
So it's weird. Honestly, it makes you wonder, like, are there some individuals that, for whatever reason, they grow an attachment to a place like that, and they make themselves a caretaker, you know, with abandoned places? There's almost, like, kind of an air to, like, maybe there's some people that, like, don't want to let go of something that they think is...
A lot of asylums, I think, are like that. I've heard stories of, like, the security guards. Like, I've read a lot of history stuff, and security guards have said, like, people that were in the asylums before would come back, and they're like, we're home, like, let us in our house kind of thing.
Wow.
And because they're still, obviously, they still have mental issues or something, and they're just brought back to that place. And it's just so many of them. That's just weird to me.
That is so freaky.
Yeah.
Super freaky. So... you guys are very active on social media. Now, with the photography that you do you guys sell prints of the stuff?
Yeah, I have some prints for sale on my website, but really any photo on my Instagram, if you, like, message me, I can do a print of it.
Okay.
I believe you do too, right?
No, I have not sold a print yet.
You haven't?
No, not
Really
one.
not for
I have
sale.
not
But you've
printed out.
printed.
No,
So
I
yours
printed
is
out my
very
own for
exclusive.
myself.
Oh, yeah, for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just said when I reach 6,000, because I'm pretty close to reaching 6,000.
You're
then
like
I'm gonna
5,000 something.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna hand out like some prints, like maybe 6.
And your Instagram handle is
Chicago_Jenn.
And we're gonna be flashing it. Your Instagram.
Alison with 3 N's and then 07.
3 N's, and then you have a website too.
It's Alison Doshen DOSHEN.com.
On there, you have your prints available, and you're also an author.
I am, yes. I believe it's been 3 years now. My first book came out, and it's called Abandoned Chicago, Decay in the Windy City. And you can find it online at Amazon and Barnes & Noble, and then in stores at Barnes & Noble also.
Wow. That's honestly insanely impressive.
Thank you.
How do you even get a book at Barnes & Noble's?
There was a lot of people have published books with the same publishing company, and they have like an abandoned like series. They do all states and different towns.
Yeah. Okay.
So I submitted a pitch. It was like right before COVID started. I submitted my pitch to them and I hadn't heard anything, I think because COVID happened, or I thought, oh, well, maybe it's not like meant to be. But then like after COVID started kind of dying down, they accepted my pitch, and I signed a contract and published my first book. And I'm in the process of finishing my second one right now also.
That's so special. What is the book about? I mean, it's about abandoned places. Like, is it like, I don't know, like a biography? Like, what can people expect?
So in my first one, it has like a little introduction, kind of like how I got started. And then it goes into, there's like 90 colored images, with some of them having history of places that I can speak about or tell history about, because a lot of places we can't tell history about because we don't want to give it away.
Yeah.
Just it's got captions under all the pictures and just telling a little history about it, kind of seeing what we see or what I see through my lens.
That's so cool. So second book is in the works.
It is, yes.
Okay, and is there like a date on that? Is it going to be kind of like a follow-up book?
Follow-up book. It's going to be called Abandoned Chicago Citywide Vacancies. So it's going to be basically Chicago and like Chicago-ish suburbs, but still kind of Cook County. Focusing on, and this one has a little bit more pictures and a lot more writing, because I can tell more about these places, because a lot of these places have been demolished or turned into something else now.
In a way, you guys are almost like, historians. You're working to preserve the stuff that's forgotten, right, and on the fringes of existing. So, kudos to what you guys do. You guys produce some seriously beautiful art. I mean, there's something about seeing, the decay of architecture that is just so beautiful. And you guys do it so bravely, too, going in places where I definitely have no business going to. So I really want to appreciate the two of you, Jennifer and Alison, for coming on the podcast today. Going to definitely be sure to put up all your links, all your socials on the screen. And I just want to thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks again. This is fun.
Awesome. Yeah.